Battlegrounds. We are casting here live from Austin, Texas, Marcus, and I couldn't be more excited to see SaSe's Protoss versus Zerg coming up. It will be SaSe versus Liquid Sheth in Group B.
Yeah, I mean, even though SaSe is advanced and Sheth is, for the most part, out of it, you know, there's still, obviously, a big contention of these guys. They want to play out all their games. SaSe would love to be able to say, I 3-0'd my group. Sheth, of course, would love to say, hey, I still sneaked out a win.
Yep.
But at this point in time, SaSe is advancing, and Sheth will not be. But we're going to see this ZVP take form.
SaSe's already managed to beat the two 1-1 players in his group. That makes him first in his group, no matter what. So in a sense, this match might seem irrelevant, but keep in mind, they are still playing for prize pool money in this very match. If Sheth can win this and get that second to bottom position, he will win $800. So there still is a lot of pressure on this match for both players. And it looks like the map has started. It will be on Entombed Valley. With, in the bottom left corner, from Team Quantic, it is SaSe.
It is SaSe indeed. We even see Sheth making some last-minute changes to his settings as he gets going there. But that's okay, you know, you're just building some drones and an Overlord or so early on. Up here in the northeast position as the Red Zerg, it is Liquid Sheth. And you know what? Sheth has played some series, Sean, that have been long, grueling.
Incredible series.
You know, required, you know, every bit of energy in order to take it all to the end. His games versus Thorze were epic. And, you know, it's rough to play those games and then not come out the victor as well. You put so much into it, you invest so much, and that last game on Metropolis was certainly a crazy one.
Yeah, I mean, that Metropolis game, when all the Ravens came up and Sheth killed off all of them with ease, complete botched Hunter-Seeker missile play. And what happened was so close to winning, but the huge map couldn't quite cinch the win, rebuilt that force, lost all those Seeker missiles. Sheth playing brilliantly, but it's kind of amazing that even if Sheth gets absolute dead last in his group to say, oh yeah, I got dead last, and so did Ganji. I mean, that really just goes to show the competition caliber in this tournament.
Oh, yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. 16 players, 16 of the greatest players around the world. Of course, you could throw in different players here and there, but there's no doubt the 16 players deserve to be here. They're putting on a great display here in a lot of the games, and you know, this is going to be no exception here for Sheth. He is starting out with a gas pool opening, which, you know, assuming
pretty uncommon,
yeah, it is. I mean, a lot of times we see the pool go down, then for the quick expansion. So, you know, I'm really curious, is Sheth sort of reached the boiling point? Is he on tilt? I really hope that's not the case. It's very, very rare where we see him in such a sort of a state of mind. But he took his guys off gas. He just wanted to get some early speed. His first lings are out. He's going to get rid of this pylon, and then he will likely go ahead and expand. No cancellation on that. He delays a little bit. Oh
my gosh.
Down.
And is SaSe actually going to go for another building? He is the player who's been known to do this before. There's the cancel. Very nice play actually there by Sheth, identifying that he would have to either commit with that probe or go for some sort of cancel immediately. He managed to get both.
Yeah, he did. Now 6 Zerglings are out on the field. Unfortunately, there's not going to be any sort of way that he's going to be able to use these Zerglings offensively. He'll poke forward, maybe get some views here, but this probe could quite possibly just seal it off if he needs to. Don't have initial unit out of that gateway quite yet. There's a second pylon going down, and now that the photons came in there, he should be good to go. Putting that probe there to block the entryway as well. And there's a quick third.
Yeah, it's kind of a surprising extra early pylon. I mean, you really kind of need this extra 100 resources just to be able to be comfortable. And now he's way overfooded. Won't really be able to make that many gateway units, and it looks like we'll never know who caused the blip. And here's Sheth trying to make his way in, and he's unable to. Nice play there by Sheth. Wow. SaSe managing to re-wall himself in.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm sure you guys have all seen it before. SaSe has had some amazing versus Zerg hold-offs before in situations where you think there's no way he's going to be able to hold off this onslaught of Zerglings is too much. He has done exactly that, and he has a sentry coming out here. That will make him feel a little bit better about defending this front as well, but we do have a drone transfer here for Sheth as he's starting to get his third base up as well. No, a third queen quite yet, as he's just trying to get everything set up and go. There we go, the third queen at the natural. So,
this is kind of interesting to note that he saw gas pool. He hasn't really seen that all event long, really.
Right.
Or I should say in the past many months with players going for hatch first, pool hatch almost every game. Occasionally 6 pools, but no fast gas coming out of that. SaSe still seems to have a reasonable response, getting the 2 safety cannons in case there's the Baneling or Roach all in, and getting the second gateway with the double chrono boost. Most of those all-ins hit a little after 7 minutes, and SaSe is going to have a ton of force fields to deflect those.
Oh yeah, he's going to have quite a few as he's still continuing to get out those sentries, and now his warp gate research about 70% done. And there's the Stargate going down.
Whoa,
yeah.
Really? That is a very weirdly late Stargate.
Very late, right? I mean, it's getting it right around 7:30, a little bit before that. But maybe he's got a plan for this based off of what he saw, or maybe he was just kind of thrown off by what he did see early on. And a Roach Warren coming out for Sheth now. He's not quite up to that point where he's got his third fully saturated yet, but he's trying to take down that middle wall, get that all said and done with, and then, oh gosh, and then a Robo as well.
I mean, I don't think SaSe is the sort of player who'd want to go for some sort of weird Void Ray play here. Okay, he is going for the Phoenix, so I mean, Phoenixes are a little bit easier to manage than the Void Ray. The Void Ray kind of has to do some sort of big, gigantic damage.
Right.
You can always get a good amount of Phoenixes, even if you delay them. Elfie known for doing this quite a bit, but still getting this quite swift Robo, and SaSe generally has not been much of a Stargating player in this matchup.
No, he hasn't. In fact, he's said it's not really a style that he's interested in going towards. We don't see it very often. We have seen it before. But understandably, every player has their sort of favorite styles of opening, especially ZVP, and it's just not one that he's ever really favored. So the Phoenixes continue to come out, though, and, you know, they can do a lot. Harassment, kill Overlords, and, you know, if your opponent goes for a primarily Roach army, great, it can do some damage. There's the third.
And interestingly, we just see SaSe going Immortal Phoenix, no gateway production, building this Nexus, getting ready to wall off at his third base, just going for the standard long-term late-game play. Single cannon gets planted, gas, stockpiling quite a bit, and if we go over to the Sheth cam, we can see that he is just massing up Roaches. I almost think Sheth was in somewhat of an uncomfortable position and just said, nah, you know what, I'm just going to Roach up, see if there's any attack coming. I mean, you got to be at least a little confused in Sheth's position because you just haven't seen anything. Only now with 4 Phoenixes are the Phoenixes actually being revealed.
Right, they will come out here. It's going to see this 4th as well. Overlords will be a key critical target as we do have a bunch of Roaches now moving across the middle of the map. Speed has just begun, and here we go. These Phoenixes going to start to do some damage, and with nothing here, and remember, he did not make that extra queen until much later. He only has 3 queens trying to build more, and is supply blocked as a result of these Phoenixes, and this is where that surprise can really, really hurt a Zerg.
So rarely can this be this effective, and now we see SaSe just picking off a ton. We see more Phoenixes, even +1 air, and with that big supply block, Sheth can just pick them off, or Sheth is going to get his queens picked off one at a time, and there's SaSe just preemptively force fielding. More Overlords get knocked down.
Yeah, I mean, meanwhile, the front, you see some force fields there. Those Roaches did try to get in, but well-defended front, and that Immortal there, he'll trap them inside. He's going to try to push off a few of these sentries, and he can't even get that done, Sean. Those sentries, look at that pullback from SaSe. I mean, he's doing this beautifully.
And now even lifting Roaches, this is not something you see every day, and especially not this +1 air attack. We see the double roll, another Stargate going down. An absolutely wild unit mixture. It looks like he might very well go for that classic old school Void Ray Colossus. So powerful, we haven't seen it in so long because it's just too gas heavy.
Right, and you know what? We said SaSe was going to show off some new things here, and I'm not sure if this is one of them. Sean, but this is definitely a pretty unorthodox little build and attack and composition that's coming out here from SaSe. We do have Void Rays now underway. The +1 air weapon is going to be finishing soon. Extended Thermal Lance.
Looks like this
second Stargate.
Void Ray was rallied. This can be a big problem for SaSe if he ends up revealing that. Will he look at the minimap in time? He is starting to pick off a lot of these drones. Wow, most of them actually in air instead of being taken down. SaSe microing quite well, managing to pick off 8 workers in that exchange. And oh, the Void Ray has revealed itself. So now Sheth knows exactly what composition he's up against.
Yeah, he is going to have a much better idea, although he's been holding down this fourth quite well. There's a lot of drones that are not doing any mining right now. He's going to take these Phoenixes possibly to the third. But that Void Ray now, pretty useless now in the middle of the map. Cannot go out too far. There's a lot of Spore Crawler coverage over here for Sheth as well. And what is beyond this? I mean, we do have Void Rays coming out of both of the Stargates. Here's the first Colossus as well. Several Immortals. And this could still be a very, very nasty composition that Sheth would have to deal with.
I mean, especially that SaSe is playing this out so passively, just slowly stepping forward. But, you know, for all this passivity we've been talking about, and or for all this, you know, crazy cleverness we've been talking about, Sheth just quietly got a hive by 14 minutes and is now getting a Greater Spire. And if he gets enough Corruptors up to pick off all these air units, and then boom, Broodlords, it won't even matter that SaSe has a big Void Ray Colossus army. He will have no army anymore.
That's a great point. Oh, we do have some Zlings down here trying to stop this third from getting created. They're going to go up versus the Zealots. He's going to have to warp in a few more units to actually deal with this. We also see another base going down here for Sheth. So although he did take pretty big losses early on, got supply blocked heavily into the red, he still managed to stay ahead.
Sees in the main the Hive Greater Spire, and that is going to pop any second now.
Yeah, it's actually great for Sheth that he did get to actually see it pop. He still doesn't know exactly the timing that he's going to deal with here, but he knows it is going to be soon. Here we have more Zerglings heading out towards that third. He wants to continue to deny this, and I like this strategy.
This is just such a great distraction. It even forces SaSe to reveal his entire composition. And this is just as weird as can be. Most of the units for SaSe are airborne. We also see that there are 8 Infestors out. Fungal growth is considered by many to be, oops, he accidentally killed one of his own units. It's considered by many to be the direct response to this match, just because you can fungal growth so easily. And I think Sheth doing a smart play by expanding to opposite corners. Ordinarily with Broodlord Infestor, you want to expand nice and close and tight, but I almost think that this army has more mobility problems than Broodlord Infestor.
And, well, there's an observer somewhere, but he has still not been able. He's just going to have to make a cannon, but he's put the pylon down anyway. We'll deal with that fourth when the time comes. We've got a bunch of Zerglings heading on around. Look at Sheth expanding all around the map, trying to find if there's a way to poke into that natural, and it will not. All he'll end up with is a bunch of very, very hurt Zerglings. And what about all these Infestors in the middle of the map? He's got to be careful.
Oh,
he
wait,
can't lose
what
these.
Are they doing up in mid?
Oh, no.
Sheth manages to get a very nice fungal growth down, but that was a potentially game-losing move right there. I mean, you don't want to sacrifice food in Infestors and replace them with Broodlords, and there's some nice fungals going down. This is the big engagement. Where's the anti-air for Sheth?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not much there. Most of those Corruptors did turn into Broodlords. First one going down, only one Corruptor near the back. More and more fungals dropping on top of those Void Rays. And you know what? If he can keep it up one more on there, he's going to be looking good.
Coming in out of nowhere, reinforcing the composition. I thought Sheth was doomed for sure. But incredible swell of Queens coming into the front, and it looks like, oh, one big fungal can lock down that whole army, and he gets a big chunk up at the front.
Yeah, he is going to lose a couple of those Infestors, but the Broodlords still stand. They'll continue to do damage. He doesn't have enough Stalkers to be able to actually deal with that. Trying not to lose any more of these units, but he is now going to be in a difficult position here because the Colossus don't have too many coming out. The Fleet Beacon's coming out right now. I mean, what is SaSe going to have to deal with this?
I mean, is, I think, honest response is to try to go for some sort of carrier mixture, get that in, because infestors don't do nearly as well against carriers as you'd think. Sure, Neural Parasite can nab a carrier, but with the range that the carriers are attacking from and how close the infestor would have to get, I mean, the Colossus already going to have some good answers there. And the fungal growth just doesn't deal damage nearly quickly enough. So, I mean, Sheth, I think, is in a very comfortable position despite that seemingly bumpy start.
Yeah, it was a very bumpy start, but he handled it quite well. He's now got control in the middle of the map. Here we have a few Zerglings swinging around the back here to try to go after this fourth. Yes, and he's actually going to go in to the main while this is happening as well, but is almost completely closed off.
Gosh, SaSe has generally great building placement. This is looking increasingly maze-like at his front, so his own units having trouble getting out. Sheth doing a good job spreading some center map creep tumors thanks to some of those queens that are hiding underneath that fray. And with these all disparately placed expansions, getting geysers up at all of them, we see the 3-3 and the level 2 flyer attack upgrades. I think Sheth might just try to play normally, but oopsie daisies. Observer in mid does spot absolutely everything, and it looks like SaSe will intercept.
Yeah, he is. He's absolutely going to try anyway. And here they are moving over. He's just waiting for it, looking for it, wanting to get at this. And you know what? We saw Sheth try this versus Thorzane, and Thorzane shut it down quite considerably.
Oh, no, he waited for them to go over open ground, and now the target fire. One is down, 2, and it looks like only 2 Overlords remain, but this is just minerals for Sheth. He's happy to exchange minerals in this this mid-game situation.
Yeah, meanwhile, of course, the big force is, of course, these Broodlords heading over. Unfortunately, mixed in there is the Observer, so SaSe knows exactly what is happening, spreading out creep from the middle of the map, getting some of those spine crawlers down as well. Keep in mind, Sheth is staying well ahead. These Zerglings actually doing more damage, yeah.
If you go to the workers kill tab, I mean, Sheth has killed 29 workers, and we actually see that SaSe is down to 66. Sheth at a whopping 94 really wants to try to churn out that maximum macro style.
And the mothership is en route. Storm is on the way. Blink at +3 weapons and armor about ready to finish up. And Sheth is going to move his Broodlords ahead again. He's got to be careful. These Void Rays moving in to intercept.
Uh-oh, and it looks like taking some huge damage. They're already placed over the valley, and there are just not that many Corruptors on the field. And Sheth could begin making a lot of those spines up in center mid, but he needs to spread that creep. He needs to get those drones out to center. I mean, spines and spores can never be underestimated in a mixture like this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And there he sees the cloaking of the Nexus, going to know, oh, the mothership is out. Is he going to move forward? Doesn't have enough for Vortex.
Yes, he does. To get, and it looks like we might have a cloaked Zerg army. And there it is, the Zerg mothership coming on in. What do you do in that position as SaSe? Do you try to pick off the mothership? Do you just let it gain enough energy? It looks like the Neural Parasite has just worn off. Back to cloaking those units. He needs to swing this mothership up.
Yeah,
we see some
really
feedbacks.
does.
Oh, feedbacks while Sheth was being distracted. And the Corruptor Broodlord force, though, so strong against the Void Ray Colossus mixture. And there the mothership does manage to start doing a lot more damage. Again, the cloak is up, and SaSe has barely managed to chew his way through this army. And Sheth tumbling down to 150 supply.
Yeah, still a few Broodlords left over, but not looking too good there. He had the right idea. I feel like you were right. Should have swung that mothership into a location where it was really, really benefiting him. But having control of the center might give him a little bit time to sort of get things, you know, back to where he'd like to have them. He did kill out several of those Colossus. We don't have any more coming. Another mothership is on its way. Unfortunately for him, he would have really liked to actually get the energy up on that mothership, gotten that Vortex down, but the Corruptors were smart to go ahead and target that, moving in with a set of links, trying to get rid of as many of these Stalkers as he can, and he will find a base.
A nice counterattack here by Sheth, continuing to keep SaSe in a defensive spot. Does not want that big Protoss army knocking at his front door. And an interesting center contained by Liquid Sheth, now adding on more and more and more and more Broodlords. looking very good.
Yeah, Sheth even doing a little bit of roach dropping here and the natural. Unfortunately, there's 2 immortals there. The last thing that you want to see when you're dropping 4 roaches into an opponent's base.
Of immortals.
Yeah, exactly. But the burrowing here of Sheth of all these Zerglings will also prevent this from going up. More gateways being added, and I do fear for this base over here for Sheth. It's been up for quite some time. And look at this, the Brood Lords are moving forward. More Lings being loaded up here, and Sheth really favoring this drop style in the later game for the Zerg. I haven't seen it fully benefit him or pull, work out, but he's pretty adamant about continuing to do that.
Oh, and it looks like we see the Brood Lords yet again trying to do this drift in over this center crevice. And oh, Colossus gets nabbed at the left side. Will he be able to get it? Another Mothership is out on the field, and Sheth is looking mighty hungry. Mothership already down to half life and gets eliminated seconds after making the debut. Number 2.
Yeah. And actually, that worked out really great for Sheth. His Corruptors came in on the left side. He had the rest of his units and the Broodlords on the right side. He caught that one Colossus coming out as well. And, I mean, well, is he going to go in for an attack? He's definitely positioning himself in exactly that. And his Stalker count is not high at all. How is he going to deal with this?
Oh gosh, there are just so many air units. There's the Fungal, there's not even Colossi around to deal with it well. And there we see, oh, the Neural Parasite on the Void Ray. Completely unnecessary and totally kick ass. And Liquid Sheth, who's been struggling throughout the entire tournament, now finally getting a big advantageous battle win in a late game spot. Already approaching the 30-minute mark with his Broodlord Infestor force. SaSe with the old school mixture is not going to be enough for the modern Zerg play of Liquid Sheth.
I mean, that's nice by Sheth. So many Zergs that have completely broken down after losing so many Overlords, like 8-9 Overlords. He was trying to get that third up right when it was happening right there. And I mean, Sheth, good on him. He really brought that one back. And SaSe looked so strong in the previous 2 games. With that opening, you're like, well, he got another solid build from SaSe, but man, Sheth really fought to stay alive, and rightfully so. The life jacket worked.
Yeah, I think Sheth is finally getting a comfortable matchup. I know Zerg vs. Protoss, he says his Zerg vs. Terran is his most comfortable, but he doesn't have as high a win rate as he does in the Zerg vs. Protoss matchup, especially in a lot of practice games. And I think that, especially since he switched to that huge drone in the ultra late game, the style that Stefano popularized, he's had a lot more success. We did see he played a whole bunch of games against SaSe in previous tournaments, and he's lost almost every single time. So I think that if Sheth can secure this win, even though he wouldn't be able to make it out of groups, he does have that nice boost of confidence.
And you know what? Sheth is a guy that will look at the positives of things. Yes, I'm out of the groups, but hey, I came back, I rallied myself, I got myself in check, and I was able to beat SaSe. Of course, you need another game here. That was just game number 1. And of course, the map selection is going to be really interesting here. I wonder what he's going to go.
Looks like he's going to be going
Kingdom.
for Cloud Kingdom, a pretty defensively structured map for a lot of Protosses. I mean, we've even seen SaSe go for the sort of crazy early third around 7 minutes, just shockingly early, because it's so easy to turtle up. But Zerg players like Sheth love the counterattack almost as much as Protosses love taking that early third. So I honestly think that it could potentially go in Sheth's favor for a second time.